Testing. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
How about now?
Yes. And we're on. All right. Say good morning to everybody. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to jump in and just kill. Well, good morning to you. I'm Mark Sudduth, Hurricane Track here. We have CJ Morgan joining me as well today.
Mark, you are muted.
I am muted? No, not anymore. Shouldn't be. Can you
Well, good
hear me?
morning, everybody. Welcome to Talking Weather with Mark Sudduth, and this is CJ Morgan. For whatever reason, we only get Mark's video today, so
But it shows that it's working. You can't hear me?
oh, gremlin.
What
So we
is
had this
happening?
issue pre-show with me, but now it's Mark. So Mark, if you go down to audio, click the little caret next to
Yep.
it, go down to microphones, then just start selecting mics until we can hear you. We'll
I
check
can
each
hear
one, I
him.
guess, just to make
Yeah,
CJ,
it's
sure.
I can
working.
hear him.
I don't
Yeah,
hear Brad either.
it's your end. Yeah, it's
So
working. Mark's
strange.
audio is live. So you have to read my lips. So maybe CJ, you should exit Zoom and I'll let you back in.
There we go. Now I got audio. It's a problem on my end, not your end. Wow.
It's hilarious. And you want me to send you my laptop to repair it? Just kidding. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you now. For whatever reason, my AirPods decided to say, nope, you're not going to be able to listen to Mark today.
Well, let's get back to the screen share. And hey, everybody, welcome to Dysfunctional Talking Weather with Mark and CJ. We're functioning now. We're good. Good to have you, everybody. And I don't have a menu today like the bullet points because the laptop that I produce it on finally has decided to kick the bucket right as I was producing that graphic. Looks like the hard drive has failed and CJ is going to try to resurrect it. We'll see. That is a circa 2011 Sony Vaio. We'll see. Running Photoshop 5.5, older than some of the people watching. So we'll see. Anyway, welcome to this edition of Talking Weather. Good to have you. Gonna go over kind of start quick here because the Tech Tuesday part of today's show kind of a big deal, and we're gonna spend a lot of time on it. So let's go ahead and jump into things with the national high and low temperatures for yesterday. Today, of course, is Tuesday the 16th. Yesterday, Monday the 15th. The highs and lows are in, and the big winner was Palm Springs, California at 89 degrees. And then we had a three-way tie for the national low yesterday. Minus 15 up on top of Mount Washington. You ever been there, CJ?
I have not, but it is on the bucket list to do the auto road.
Yes. Um, then, or you could just hike it.
I'll
Somebody
do the auto road.
somebody was doing that. I think they had to get rescued because they were chased by or attacked by a bear or something. But story for another day. And then we had Paris, Illinois, and Crawfordsville, Indiana, chiming in each with -15 as well. So the morning lows from Sunday into yesterday, there weren't any negative numbers, at least on the map that I was showing. But this morning, from last night into today, there certainly were. So there you go.
Ooh,
89 and -15. I'll take the 89. That works for me.
yeah.
So the national map, let me, because I always forget to turn the telestrator on. Let's get that bad boy up, share the screen back, and we're in business. So look at all the brown up here, all this wind coming in,
Yep.
and I think that's one of the largest areas of wind watches, advisory, whatever that I have ever seen. And it's all up north here, northern Nevada, pretty much the whole of Wyoming, all of Montana, the Dakotas, especially North Dakota, northern Minnesota. And then part of that here in Washington and Oregon is related to the next atmospheric river coming in.
Yep.
Just a relentless stuck pattern where it is warm out here, windy and stormy up north, cold, even lake effect snow issues there near Watertown still. But the northwest part of the country has really been under the gun these last like 10 days plus. Lots of flooding in Seattle area, outside like rural areas, not
Yep.
downtown Seattle, luckily, but very, very windy. And I guess these pinks in here, some fire weather, red flag warning. Are we going to work? Yes, it's going to work. There we go. Colorado Springs up through Denver. So that would include our friend Matt Clemens. And let's see what the damaging winds and high fire danger. So, yeah, warm and dry and windy. That doesn't make for good conditions,
No,
especially
no,
if
it
you're
does
not
not.
careful. So let's take a look real quick too at this is cool. I was looking for different satellite vantage points. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
Yep.
Really neat interface. You can mouse over it and pop up different regions. And let's do just this area right here, and we'll do the pretty big one, the 4,000 by 4,000 pixels. Maybe too much. Let's let's back that out. Let's do 2,000 by 2. There we go. So that's pretty cool. This is the geo color. And if you just move away from it, there's the western portions of the US. What I want to know are what are all these crack looking things down in the, are we looking at like
Those are
contrails?
contrails. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's incredible
Yep. Those
that
are
those get
contrails.
picked up like that. Wow.
Yep.
We should get Shay Gibson back on to go ahead and dispel any, well, they're spraying off the coast of California, getting ready for that atmospheric river. Okay, you win, whatever. But that's really, really neat. These different satellite vantage points off this map here. Let's take a look at CJ's area and see what we can spot down there. Sun has come up here. Hey, look at that
Yep.
fog.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful morning. We had some low clouds this morning, some of those beautiful, almost morning glory like clouds that are starting to burn off now that we've gotten some sunshine in throughout the peninsula. But yeah, there's still quite a bit of a marine layer fog up in radiational fog up into the panhandle and northern parts of 75. Very typical for this time of year, but a beautiful day for the rest of the Southeast. Look at that clear skies the whole way from Nashville to Birmingham, Atlanta, Savannah, even up into your neck of the woods, Mark, in
There's
southeastern North
hardly,
Carolina.
so South Carolina
Mm-hmm.
literally has no clouds
Yep.
anyway.
Yep.
North Carolina looks like just a little bit, unless that's snow cover up
It
there,
very
which
well
it
could
very
be
well
looking
could
up
be.
into the
Yeah,
Appalachians into Virginia, but still, I mean, it's just a beautiful day across the Southeast.
that's amazing. What a neat. So let's just see. I want to go, let's just go crazy here. Isn't that what Bob Ross would let's just go crazy. Let's zoom in. That's pretty good. So that's the 2400 by 2400 pixels.
Yep.
Wow, the resolution. This is really good stuff. But look at that. No, that's snow cover.
Yep.
So there's
That's on the
no
higher
cloud
peaks of the
cover.
Appalachians. just no
Anywhere.
cloud cover in the
Yeah.
mid-Atlantic. It is a beautiful morning across the mid-Atlantic down into the southeast. If you're driving up 95 today, or usually it's the other way, but
Right.
if you're traveling today in the eastern thirds of the country, it's a beautiful day.
Let's do
Look at the
this up
snow
in,
cover there.
yeah, here we
So
go.
that's all snow cover. So recently there was a pretty decent winter storm that dumped some heavier snow into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, up into New York and Connecticut. And just, I mean, you can see it right there. There it is. That's the snow.
That's really
But
neat. You
then,
can see the folds of the
mhm,
Appalachians, or as
yep,
CJ says, the Appalachians.
those are the Ridge and Valley Appalachians,
Yeah,
as we call them. Just
so
absolutely
cool.
gorgeous. You can see right there at the that little weird looking county there that's in the middle. That's Allegheny. Then the one to its right, you can see Chestnut Ridge, and that's the front of the Allegheny Mountains on the west side.
Weird
So it's
looking
just,
county. That's funny.
yeah, well, that they all are.
So some pretty decent snow cover, but it's not particularly
Mm-mm.
deep.
Nope. No,
And
it is
but it's
not.
enough that
Yep.
it's going to help with cold air advection, um, maybe. But I think it's going to start melting. We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah.
But there's Maine,
Look at the
and
lack of snow cover in northern and eastern Maine.
yeah,
That's just very interesting to me.
pretty neat stuff. The Delmarva. Look at Delaware. Lots of
Hmm.
snow on the ground in Delaware. Such cool
Eastern Shore
stuff.
of
So
Maryland.
I'm going to bookmark this page.
So
And
fun fact, whenever I do our graphics with satellite shots, this is where they come from.
oh, okay.
Hmm. I
Just for
love
the heck
Vigo's
of it,
image viewer.
let's just look out at the Atlantic. Ah, there you go.
Hmm.
That's what it looks like where it's warm, folks. Nice.
Ooh.
Very nice. Wow. I wonder what Jamaica we can't get. You have to pay for high res sat where you can
Mhm.
check in on their vegetation, because Melissa cut right through there.
You can almost kind of make out though a little bit of like a muddier path on the left
Yeah,
side of the island.
yeah. Let's see what the
But
highest res was that I could. Let's do that one.
so this
Ooh,
should be
there we go.
4K. But yeah, you can definitely see the browning of the vegetation on the west
Right.
side of the island.
And Brent's down here somewhere working on somebody's toilet. Hey, and that's
Hey, but
literally
at
what
least
he
it's
does.
warm and for the most part, just fair weather clouds down there in the Caribbean.
Right. Wow. And there's old Africa.
Yep.
Man, I gotta, there's so many tools now. That's the thing. And it's just hard to keep up with it all. Anyway,
Exactly.
thought I would show everybody that. We'll get into the weather forecast and so forth in a minute. Um, Let me just stop the screen share for a sec. So you should see CJ and myself next to each other. See who all is on our friendly neighborhood chat today. And the usual folks, which is great. The regular crowd shuffles in. That's from Billy Joel's Piano Man. It's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday instead of 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Isn't that what it was? Was it 9 or 7? I think it was 9. You know the song, right? Piano Man?
Yeah, I think it's 9.
Nobody's going to a bar at 7.
No.
Anyway, we have the regular crowd. It is good to see everybody. It is Tuesday-ish. That's right. Interesting. Yeah, it's funny. I'm just looking back. The audience
Hey,
could hear me, but CJ could not.
no, I
But now you
cannot.
can. Well, let's get back to it because I'm excited about the Tech Tuesday. We'll get to it there. But look, I want to show you this. Merriam-Webster, this is just whatever, a little sidebar. The human editors have chosen the word slop as the 2025 word of the year. And all that AI slop that's out there, this is a great picture. And here's the
Yep.
article. Yep, it's all about the AI slop that we are living in. Um, I just thought that was funny. I thought I'd share it with you. Slop as the
Slop.
word of the year. And sometimes you get sloppy weather and whatever, so it's
Hmm.
relevant. It's relevant. All right. As my chair keeps collapsing, I'm gonna have to get, hey, let me jump on the Amazon wish list for the family. Dad needs a new office chair. Fairbanks. So the high and low temperature stuff is that I show, I think, is just from the lower 48. It does not include Alaska and Hawaii for whatever reason. Maybe I'll send them a message and ask them why, but whatever. This is from yesterday, and so I guess it was Sunday into yesterday. The National Weather Service Fairbanks into Monday morning hit 40 below at
Nope.
Fairbanks International Airport. That isn't unusual, but it has been a while. 680 days, in fact. The last time the airport reported temps at or below negative 40 was way back in 2024. An interesting fun fact, 40 degrees is when Fahrenheit and Celsius are equal. I don't understand that. Like, that's just weird to me, but somebody must be telling the truth there because I guess they finally, just the way the scale is, they finally meet at minus 40.
Yeah. It's just
Minus
wow.
40. How do you even function? How does your
It doesn't.
car start?
It doesn't. It's why
Breath?
so many people in Alaska they have to buy those
Right.
block heaters for their
Right.
cars.
Pedals?
They've been
Minus
plugging in their
two.
cars long before it was popular.
There you go. That's true. That's a good point. Very funny. Good. Fort Wainwright, negative 41. But the winner
Ugh.
is Talk at
Yep.
minus 45. I mean, for real.
Nope.
There can't be any reason except, I guess, maybe the oil industry or, I don't know, talking to polar bears or something. But I think even the polar bears are like, I'm out at minus 45.
I
Wow.
wonder if I wonder if Alaska still pays its people to live there because they
Right.
used to. They used to give
Yeah.
a dividend to their residents.
Yeah, I think they do. I think I heard about that on a podcast sometime in the last year or two.
So, fun fact, I learned about that through the Simpsons movie.
Ah, it's funny because it's not me. All right.
Exactly.
The only Homer impression you're getting around here. This is shocking. Speaking of high-res
Hmm.
photos, this is from Colin McCarthy, U.S. Storm Watch, very popular there on the
Absolutely.
Twitters. The lack of snow cover in the West is shocking. And if we juxtapose this, and I don't have an image to juxtapose it with, but the last couple of years, 23, 24, into the winters of those years, 23 into 24, 24 into 25, it was ridiculous how much snow cover they had. And what we were looking at there, well, Mark, isn't that snow we're seeing? Nope, that's fog.
Yep,
And
that
they have
is
been
Thule fog.
Thule, that's how you say it. Thule fog trapped down there in the valley. And, that's just got to be nasty after being like 10 days of that.
So I actually just saw a video this morning. The weather weenies on the chat, they'll their ears will perk up here. So Trey from Convective Chronicles just did a meteorological deep dive into that. This
Hmm.
is currently one of the longest streaks of Thule fog that they've had in the Central Valley. It's been over 20 days. Can you imagine that for 3 weeks straight? Plus
Dude, like,
now, I would,
is it an
it's horrible.
inversion?
So it's
Traffic?
radiational fog, believe it or not. I believe there is something to do with the inversion layer there because of the way that that valley sits like a bowl.
So
But you get that
radiation, does that mean
marine
that it
layer,
glows? Sorry.
right? So you get that marine layer that just funnels through the Golden Gate, believe it or not. So fun fact, it's not just the bridge, that's actually called the Golden Gate Strait,
Sure.
into the Sacramento and San Joaquin valleys there. And it just traps that cold, dense air down below. And ugh, it's just
Yeah, it
nasty.
is
But
exactly right.
they're used, they do get that. That's not uncommon. It's actually a staple, I believe, of the Central Valley winters, but it can cause some issues with crop growth, etc., if it
Yeah.
lasts too long. And that's the
Caused some
biggest
issues
thing.
with being depressed.
Yeah, that too. So hopefully we can get a nice atmospheric river to get in there and scour all of that out.
Yep, that is coming. And we'll talk
Hmm.
about that in the long range stuff. So this is, broken record out there. Talked to Clemens last evening or late afternoon, and he said it was like 65 in Denver. Flagstaff, I mean, they're just mailing it in at this point.
Hmm.
More of the same. Take a day and copy it to the next. Somebody should just go over to National Weather Service Flagstaff and knock on the door. Maybe they are, maybe they're. I'm just kidding, of course, but it is the same song and dance out there. Forecast for today, mostly sunny, temperatures very nice, winds light and variable. All right, well, enjoy because eventually the pattern will change. And I'm telling you, CJ, when it does, and they get a blizzard out there, And
Yep.
because Flagstaff's like 7,500 feet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they get snow, especially up in
Right.
the what is that, the pinyon pine forests up
Yeah.
there. It's
Yeah. And you
it's
have
always
the
been on my bucket
Arizona.
list to make it to Sedona and Flagstaff.
People ski out there at the
Yep.
Arizona Snow Bowl, and you got that volcano out there. And
Yep.
I got to get out there when it changes because it's really
Arizona
amazing.
is
Yeah,
interesting. It's on my bucket list of states to visit. There's just a lot of variable terrain and
absolutely.
geography there.
Terrific.
It's like Mars, like you always say, it's like
Right.
Mars. It's
It's like
totally
going to
just a
another
different
planet.
planet.
So, speaking of stuff getting scoured out, it's coming. This
Hmm.
is from the CW3E Scripts. What in the heck is that? Well, you mouse over it. Center for Western Weather and Water Extremes Science Tech outreach that addresses the impacts of extreme weather and water events over Western North America. And they have some cool products here. The atmospheric rivers forecast to remain over the Pacific Northwest through early Wednesday, with another one to move on shore later that same day. This is part of the reason why I chose not to go out there, is I wasn't sure about my flight getting in and just shenanigans with getting stuck in Charlotte if these are just one
Right.
after the other. Anyhow, and then models are also highlighting the potential for additional atmospheric river over, wait for it, California. Yay, next week. The scouring of the Thule fog is near. It's coming.
Yes.
So just hang in there, folks. It'll be there. And you can see that somewhat reflected in the hazards outlook over the next 3 to 7 days. Most of the active weather in the northwestern part of the country. But let's just not ignore way up here in far northern New England, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, heavy precipitation on the 19th. We'll have to investigate what that might be when we get into the long range stuff soon. All right, let me just unshare for a moment. Take a brief second to say hello to everybody on the chat. Who do we got? Wood of the year from the slop image. I like that.
Hmm.
Wood of the year instead of the word. Yeah, very clever. Have you talked to any of your friends who do snow plowing? Talk to you about how much more snow climatology they're expecting this year. I know they just got an early boost. That's a good point. That would be a great guest is to have somebody on. There are private snowplow companies. You have
Yep.
your state, the DOT, and on the Outer Banks, they have a whole group of sand plow people that work down on Highway 12. Very interesting, and they just stay down there. And I often joke when I see that after a storm, up north they plow snow, on the Outer Banks they plow sand. But that's a good point because a lack of snow cover can really lead to economic hardship for the snowplow people. And in some of
Right.
these years recently, when we've had very little snow in the Northeast, I think I heard a story about it on Marketplace at one point. But that's a good point you bring up there on the chat. So it is Tech Tuesday, and with all that, I'm going to bring in Brad, get his camera, maybe. Oh, I'm sorry, he has to do it. I just 5 years of using Zoom, and I'll figure it out one day. Let me go back and share the screen. So it's Tech Tuesday, and today's topic is going to be drones, and not the kind used in Ukraine and Russia. That's a whole different kettle of worms. We're talking about the drones, the quadcopters that are used in our business, the Weather Enterprise. And I'm going to show you as we get into this, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story and all that, set it up. And I'm going to show you some examples over the last few years of how we've used them. And then I'm going to introduce you to one of our friends of the project, Brad, here. And he's going to talk about how he's used it. And he's got a couple and hopes to use one of his newer ones that he's just purchased recently from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So, CJ, you and I have been out there to the plains quite a few times since
Yep.
2021. And one of the most useful tools that we have these days, not just the live cams and the GoPros and all that, is the ability to do aerial photography through drones.
Oh, 100%.
My drone story starts way back in 2013, 2014, when Carrie, who unfortunately no longer with us, passed away in 2020. He was just on top of everything, always looking for the next piece of tech, you name it. And he was saying, they got these quadcopters that are coming out from this company DJI. you should get one. And all right, well,
Right.
I've never flown one, whatever. So he bought one for the project, and I flew it around, learned it. And this is when you had to put the GoPro yourself underneath
Yeah.
it, and you had a controller. It was the Phantom One, and I think it's still in my garage. And you had to fly it. Actually, it is not. It's at the bottom of some lake, but we'll get there. Um, Spoiler alert. And you had to fly it totally by sight because there was
Wow.
no thing to look at. You could not see
Right.
its view. There was no FPV. And so I got good at it pretty quickly. You had to learn how left is left and right is right, but sometimes they reverse, and
Yep.
the green lights versus the red lights. There's a trick to it and an art. And so that very first year, I got pretty confident pretty quick. And I went up to Linville Falls in North Carolina with my son, my second oldest son, Cole, and it was like Christmas Eve, and we went over to Linville Falls, and I wanted to fly that drone. Linville Falls is a series, of steps, so to speak, that lead down to the real big falls. And I was flying that thing around some sharp corners and just getting some really good low angle POV shots of the falls.
Right.
And I had it pretty deep back towards the upper falls, and I wanted to turn it around and bring it back and go down this corkscrew deal through the granite
Right.
and just get incredible tight shots. And I did it. And then I was like shaking. I was so excited about it. Oh, this is going to be incredible. And so I flew it back up the upper falls, and I wanted to turn it around and get it out of there. And I was just so excited about the shot that I got my directions mixed up.
Oh
And
no.
I accidentally flew it too far where I thought I was going right. It went left or whatever. And I flew it into a tree, and it fell
Mm.
into the Linville River, the falls,
Oh
whatever.
goodness.
And I could see it go by, and down the falls it went. And that's that. So
Oh.
someday, and maybe it's already happened, somebody at some lake somewhere will find the GoPro, and it's fresh water, so the chip will probably work. And they're going to
Right.
find some amazing footage from my drone.
Right.
The other one that I lost, I've lost two. I was with Carrie, and we were on Galveston Island, and we were testing our drifting surge cam, which is a story for a whole other day. And we had a drone, of course, and there was fog. It was that low fog, and
Right.
it covered all of Southeast Texas. And I had the brilliant idea. It was also very windy off the Gulf. I thought, let's fly the drone above the fog.
Right.
And back then, there was really no limit like there is
Right.
now. There weren't all these rules, and you just had 12 minutes of flight time, and that's it. That's what
Right.
happened. And I said, let's just take it straight up, as high as I can go. We'll just kind of estimate. All right, we should be at 400 or 500 feet. And I thought we should be able to see Houston sticking up through the fog 30 miles to the north.
Right.
Never saw the drone again because once it got above the fog, the wind got it, and that thing took off. Because what we did,
Ooh.
I said, I thought I was smart, and Brad, you'll appreciate this. I thought I'll just put it straight up, and then once it runs out of battery, it'll automatically come and land because it knows that internally. Now you
Right.
can tell it to do it and whatever. So we just sat there, and it's like, all right, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and just filming, whatever. I remember I rotated it around, try to
Hmm.
get some, whatever. All right, it should come back any time now. And we're waiting, and it's windy as all get out. And we're waiting 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm like, it's gone. Anyway, we did. We lost the drone.
Oh.
Since then, have not lost any, and now I have the more fancier models. I have two myself, an Air 2 that I bought in 2020. I retired the Phantom 2. Oh, I got one more drone story, and then I'll start showing some stuff, and we'll get deeper into this. Right after Michael, Hurricane Michael, um, once I had a Phantom 2, and that had an app, and you could actually see it on your phone.
Right.
And but the app had to talk to the server because all these
Right.
rules were in place, and it had to get geofencing information and no-fly zone and all that stuff. And there was no internet in the wake of Michael. Brent and
Michael.
I were on Mexico Beach, spent the night out there after picking up the stuff, and my dream was to get that first light shot of Mexico Beach. Nobody had seen it yet, no choppers, nothing.
Yep.
and we would at least catch it and try to drive into Signal and upload it. That was the plan. Well, because the app DJI Fly could not talk to the servers, it would
Right.
not function, and I couldn't
Wow.
fly through the app, but I
Hmm.
could fly manually. Like
Right.
just screw it, just turn it on and fly it. But then you only have 300 feet that you can use. So I had to
Right.
walk around debris and whatever. So in the Michael documentary, any drone shots you see on our Michael documentary, and Brad, you'll appreciate this. I couldn't use the onboard camera, so we gorilla taped Brent's GoPro to the battery pack, and I flew the drone backwards
Yep.
to get all of the shots that you see in the
Wow.
Michael documentary. But here's the end of that story. Um, who's the guy? Oh, it's a famous storm ship. Val Castor drives out in his big truck, and I think it was Val Castor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I saw him flying his drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, how's he got internet? This is before Starlink. He had BGAN.
Uh,
It's satellite. And so he scooped me on uploading it to the Weather Channel and whatever services, but it worked. We got some great footage, but Brad, I literally flew that thing manually. Manually, I pulled it off. All right, so let me show you a couple of examples from the last few years here. We'll pop up these folders, and hey, there's our Discord. By the way, that's a nice mugshot of our good friend Michael. We're just joking. He's playing Santa at the local deli. Haha. Mr. Hurd, if you're watching, we're just kidding. Hopefully, he gets a good chuckle out of that. Let's go back to 2022. This is just literally off my folder. And we'll just go through some of these videos. These have no audio, of course, so we don't have to worry about sharing sound. This is out in the desert. Beautiful. What you can do with these things. Just more desert shots. This was a monsoonal thunderstorm that was coming in, very heavy rain over the mountains, as you can
wow.
see there. And then we finally got some flash flooding, as you can see here. Nothing major, no big deal, but this is near Kingman, Arizona. And just moving on along, just a few examples here. Very versatile. You can do what's called a plan view, where you look straight down, a geographic term called plan view. Da da da. Lots of different shots here. Wide shot, you can get farther out. And we're only about 200 feet up. And this is
Right.
just beautiful stuff flying across the Vermilion Cliffs. But I did want to show you where we got into the flooding at the end of that expedition. There we go. This is out in Fort Apache, I think is what it's called, out east of Phoenix, and they had a significant flash flood from a microburst thunderstorm. Just incredible what you can do with these drones. This is from back in 2022. Let's kill that. CJ, you'll start to recognize this stuff. Um, Not my dog. So this is from 2023 out on the Great Plains. Beautiful structure. Uh, Maybe some hail in there. Moving right along. So you know where this
Oh, that
was.
storm. That was that was the Thor throwing thunderbolts at us.
Yes, so that
That's
is a
Brady,
supercell.
Texas.
Brady, Texas. How
Gorgeous
far did we
structure.
drive to get to that supercell?
Oh my God. That no, actually, I don't think that. No, yeah,
That
it was.
was.
That was the day that we drove
Yes.
from.
Parker, Colorado
Oh my God, it was
to Brady,
15,
Texas.
16 hours. I
Yeah.
remember this storm that you guys are looking at was all by itself, and we could see it slowly come over the
Yes.
horizon, and it was every bit as giant as it looks in this shot, Mark.
Yep.
The
Classic
structure on that.
corkscrew. That is a
Yep.
rotating
Wall cloud
supercell
over to the left.
thunderstorm. You see all the
I
people
mean,
doing U-turns going, nope.
yep. Oh,
Nope.
it's funny. I
Going
don't
that
remember
way.
seeing that, but
Hmm.
I definitely, that's funny. Everybody's just like, nope, we're going to turn around and go the other way.
Right. Look at all the poor bastards coming in from the distance. They're like,
Oh,
oh crap. But yeah, that's the power of these drones, just incredible stuff. I think I've got some storm chasers in here. Yeah, this is where I flew it over the
yeah, I
crowd.
remember this at the end.
Yeah, this is like a scene you'd see in Twisters or something. Let's see, I think I did a
Mm-hmm.
closer one. Yeah, here we go. I wonder who we know down there, like today, like all the people we've met out
Mm-hmm.
there. You can spot CJ. He's in the red. There's CJ right there in the red.
Yep.
So yeah, drones really cool. Let's see. I think that's about. Oh yeah, here we go. I do want to show this. This is from 23 as well. See if I can remember which storm this was. What was I flying over here? Oh yeah, this is Cedar Key after
Um,
Adalia, and this is just different stuff that had floated out into the water. And you can get really close. You can see the shadow of the drone. I'm probably 3 feet above that desk that had
ooh,
floated out there. And this is flooding in Washington, North Carolina from
yep.
Tropical Storm Ophelia.
Wow.
You know, just the cinematography is really amazing with these things, so we'll kill that. And let's just quickly go through 2025, just a few selections. This is the snow. This stuff doesn't even look real. This is how good they have gotten.
Mm-mm.
It's windy, it's snowing, it's about 26 degrees, and the different stuff that you can see in shots like this are so amazing. Let me move
Where
on.
was that? Was that Myrtle Beach?
Nope, that's Norfolk.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
There's I think that's Neptune. There's Ian Oliver down there from Fox Weather.
Yep. Okay.
There's a good shot. This is one of my favorites. That just doesn't look
Virginia
possible.
Beach.
Yeah, it was
No.
Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been there.
But
I
look
couldn't
at this
remember
one,
where.
back up one more, two more. Look at that. That's the Aeolian process by which sediment or like dust and sand or whatever gets moved by the wind,
Mhm.
except it's the Aeolian process with snow looking like sand.
Yep.
Such an amazing, I just get excited about this stuff as if you can't tell. Just an amazing tool the drone is. Let's jump through some other stuff here. Actually, let me just exit that window. Um, Here is Ruidoso in New Mexico, and Scott and I were out there for this. Again, just kind of a low angle shot showing the remnants of a big flood. They've flooded a lot this year, you know, just lots of versatility, sorry. Versatility, is that even a word? Versatility. This is other monsoon stuff I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me back up.
The
Sorry.
wheat
This is my
fields.
gladiator shot. You just need Russell Crowe, you know, with his hand moving across the wheat, and you're good to go. This is out in Colorado when I was wrapping up severe weather season. Just neat stuff. But I want to show you one more thing from Arizona. Then we're going to get into talking with Brad about how he can use it. Sorry, just bear with me. Look at these shots here. Let's get past Ruidoso.
Look at that.
That, and then this one. That is absolutely incredible. You know,
Wow.
just like that's a rain shaft you see in the distance, probably 20 miles away. The monsoon, you know, I just, CJ, I just can't. Like, I love this stuff. Just the cinematic view,
Beautiful.
just phenomenal. Another view of a thunderstorm with a nice rain shaft under it. And then finally, a couple more here. Look at that one. That's
Wow. Look at
just
that.
Amazing.
like CGI. It's just, and that
Mhm.
really is what it looks like. Really good stuff. And I think oh yeah, the fire, the Dragon Bravo
Oh yeah,
fire.
yeah, yeah.
Um, we couldn't get close. They had it all cordoned off, and you can't
Right.
fly the drone near the fire anyway because you might interfere with the helicopter operations. And so you have to be very careful about that. There's regulations, and this is all the smoke. I was really wanting to show that was pouring through the Vermilion Cliffs. You can,
Wow.
yeah, exactly. You can smell it from here. It was
Hmm.
very acrid, as the
I'm
word
sure.
goes. These are some weird, I'm just kidding. That's a parking area. Ooh, it's like the Nazca Lines. What is that down in Peru or something? But that's the Vermilion Cliffs,
Wow.
like
Okay.
flying over the surface of Mars. All right. So now that you've enjoyed my summer vacation videos, let's talk seriously about it. It's a really neat tool for the weather enterprise. And before we get to Brad, I've showed you a little bit of mine. I'm just going to show you for copyright reasons. I cannot show you the actual video, but I can show you it queued up on my screen. this is one of the best examples. And again, out of respect to Reed Timmer, I'm not going to play the video because sometimes they have automatic detector things and you can get a letter from an attorney and just whatever.
But we
It's just
can and we will link to it in the description once the show's
exactly. Yeah,
over,
we
as well
definitely
as
want to
throw a
show it.
card up there in the corner.
Right.
This is hands down, Mark. I've told you I will sing the praises of this video until the cows come home. Some of the most raw and just awe inspiring in the real sense of that word
Yeah.
views of a tornado doing damage, a strong tornado that exists.
Yep. And that was
Um,
captured via drone.
yep,
And that was
in
back in
Andover,
2022,
Kansas.
Andover, Kansas. And there's other examples of it. You got the Taurus Project that
Mhm.
really came onto the stage last year. I was going through some of their video last night, and in my VR,
Right.
Brad, you got to get a VR. We will talk about it. Yeah. Sally Joe's your wife, right? Sally Joe.
Yes.
She's going to be like, you got to stop being friends with this guy. It's getting too expensive. But watching even regular 2D video in the VR makes it feel like you're watching it on IMAX. I can't explain it.
Mhm.
The Taurus project, oh my goodness. That's a drone. I think it's custom made, etc. But the power of these drones for cinematic, for reporting, we've seen those news choppers since the 80s and 90s coming up out of OKC, and they've done it and they've got the big cameras and they can zoom in, of course.
Mhm.
But what we can do with UAS equipment now is remarkable. And you remember the other day, we talked about it a little bit, and that's what kind of prompted me for this week. That story shared from me from Stan Goldenberg, how NSSL is going to use drones to actually start studying the dynamics of tornado genesis. Wow, just what an incredible piece of technology that has become available and widely used in the last several years. So now, without further ado, the man on my left, anyway, of my screen, Mr. Brad Hanson, coming to us from Rodanthe, North Carolina. He's got a couple of drones. Welcome to our Talking Weather, Brad. So tell us a little bit about what you have done and hope to do with your drones.
Well, I bought my drones. I'm down here in one of the most famous um, sport fishing areas in the world. Um, I wanted to get a drone and find some captains that would let me go out on their boats and film some billfish uh, fishing. I thought that would be a
Yeah,
interesting,
agreed.
interesting thing to do. Uh, it's a lot of the captains, they're not too keen on the idea because of passengers and too many people, liability, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I do have some feelers out that might work this
Right.
summer. But anyway, I purchased a Mavic 3 Enterprise drone, which is a commercial drone, and it's a has a thermal imaging camera,
Perfect.
Wow.
IR camera. Um, I have I can help the fire department.
Yep,
I can help all these people know that I have this drone.
exactly.
The Park Service knows I have it, and I can help with their turtle
Mhm.
search, and all that
Yep.
good stuff.
Surf
Uh,
and rescue folks, you name it, man.
I took the SPCA.
Hmm.
I let them know that I have it. The Sheriff's Department search and rescue, I could
Yep.
use
Dare
it.
County. Yep.
I have already I've used it once for checking out the tower down here. You can tell if there's loose connections on some of
Right.
the cell towers,
Yeah.
Yep.
and I used it for that for the fire department. There's great big huge solar farms here
Yeah.
I could use it with. Uh, and electrical line inspections
Hmm.
for the electrical company. I will got feelers out for that, and
And you've had your stuff on Fox Weather because you've shown the aftermath and even some deering of some of the storms we've had this year.
yes,
And the utility of it is just incredible. I like the fact, though, that you can make use of it to actually help search for somebody who is either lost or maybe somebody that
yes,
doesn't want to be found, we'll say, you know? And that infrared, I don't want to say I can't wait to see it because it means probably something pretty heavy is going down, but that's got to be that word remarkable. It's got to be remarkable to
It's
know that
pretty
you've got
cool.
that
And I can
capability.
also use it for search and rescue on the ocean. Say
Yeah,
it's a
Right.
lost surfer. Uh,
sure.
there's a couple different settings where they use black or white um,
Hmm.
imaging
Right.
as a heat source. So
Right. Right. Right.
that works very well. I've used that. Showed the fire department and the EMS uh,
It's
people.
insane.
But
So
I like it because they know you've got it, and it's a
yeah, they know I have it.
close-knit community out there, and
And
kind of isolated, especially this time of year. You don't get a lot of visitors, and so
friends
you
with the
know,
Park Service.
right?
They I fly overfly the national park all the time.
Yeah,
And as long as you take off and land on private property,
right.
it's all copacetic.
Yeah,
I've got some very good pictures of the lighthouse that's being repaired right now.
yep. I
But
remember when they moved that sucker. Well, let's talk again. Well, not again. Let's talk. Let's get to. So we're obviously now familiar with the drone stuff, and I showed a few examples. Mine and Brad's, they're from a company called DJI, and it's a Chinese-based company. And again, I first learned about it in 2013, and I've owned the Phantom 1, the Phantom 2. Now I've got the Mavic 2 and the Mavic 3 Air, whatever.
Mhm.
And they've done great, like I showed you. And Brad's got a couple of really good ones. The Enterprise one, it's very expensive. But there is a problem coming, potentially, that could really set the drone world back. And that is an apparent drone ban coming up. CJ,
Yeah.
this is sort of a geopolitical thing,
Almost.
and
Yeah.
it is. So CJ's not necessarily our man in Washington, but he's our
Mhm.
man in Tallahassee, so to
Yeah.
speak.
We'll
Uh,
say that.
He's got
Uh,
political aspirations, and that's a good thing.
and
Politics does not always have to be fire and ice. Sometimes it can
right.
be a nice lukewarm cup of water where we can discuss things rationally. And in this situation, I'm going to turn it over to CJ. Talk to us about this drone ban that's probably coming, why it
Right.
has happened, and what may be the results.
So before I go in, I'm going to give it the old caveat. I do work for one of the teams, but this is going to be completely a partisan because the
Exactly.
legislation we're going to be, and this is legislation that we're going to be discussing, was bipartisan. So back in 2024, when each year our federal government has to fund itself, we see what happens when they don't. Um, and the as part of that process, you get what's called an NDAA bill, the National Defense Appropriations Authorizations Act. So that's every year they basically throw in. It's an 1,800-page bill. You can go read through it or skim it to your liking, just using the Federal Register. But during the 2024-2025 appropriations process, so this would have been late 2024 for the 2025-2026 fiscal year, there was some language inserted into that bill. And there was a lot of concern at the time. You guys will remember the TikTok ban
Correct.
on Chinese technology, which, for better or for worse, China does have private companies to an extent, but the Chinese government has its hands in almost every single large corporation over there. And Congress is concerned. And this is, again, both sides of the aisle. This isn't, we saw President Biden and President Trump both took very hard line stances on China in terms of economic policy. Oh, there goes a cat. So looking at this in total, it's basically where our federal government gives the FCC a certain allotment of time, or any of the executive departments time, to review and audit DJI to make sure that all of its data is indeed, as they're saying, is staying on American shores and
Right.
isn't being sent back to China. Because the last thing that we want, and I think most Americans would agree here, we don't want our information and our flight data, especially if a drone can be, remotely controlled over the internet,
Yep.
to be sent anywhere overseas. That's obviously a
Right.
huge national security risk.
China or anywhere. Exactly.
It doesn't matter what country it is, at least in my view, it shouldn't happen. So the reality is, and this is where the issue is with the ban, That still hasn't taken place.
That
So
audit.
they have a nope, they have a
Right.
deadline of December 23rd, 2025. And what'll happen, at least right now, our understanding of it, and this comes from my reading up on it. Some of my sources include The Verge and CNET, actually. So reputable, news outlets online. So they're stating that this will only bar DJI from importing new products. However, and this is the big caveat, the FCC can retroactively ban imports of old products too after a waiting period. So
Right.
that could mean two things. So you're going to see no more drones from Chinese companies entering the US market. So that'll be a hard cutoff immediately on the 23rd if something isn't done. Beyond that, then you're going to see a waiting period. I don't know exactly what that is. I didn't read that far into the legislation, but you won't be able to get new old stock either. You won't be
Yeah.
able to get batteries, parts, and it remains to be seen. Will DJI just quit updating their firmware? What is
Right.
this going to do? So this throws a lot of industries. It's not just the weather community, but
Exactly.
a lot of there isn't really an American company, and this is the big issue. Same thing with TikTok. Remember, there really isn't an American equivalent. So
Which
the
is
question
unfortunate,
mark,
but it's the way it
it
goes.
is. So, and DJI has been really almost a monopoly in this space. You talk
Right.
to anybody that has a drone, 9 times out of 10, it's DJI
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's cheaper and there's really, it's better,
They are
better
really
product.
good. Yeah. They're
Yeah, it
unbelievable.
is a better product. And I'll be the first to say that, the rules, the principles of capitalism, win out there. If you have
Yeah.
a better product, people are going to buy it. So at the end of the day, what we're looking at is we're looking at a possible banning of DJI drones in the United States. And that's a problem for a lot of different reasons. Obviously it'll put, I don't know if NSSL's project will get derailed. I have a feeling that they're going to be pulling old military equipment in for that, as so often happens with the National Weather Service. That's why we have Doppler radar, thank God. But
Sure.
the biggest thing right now is this is going to affect amateur drone flyers immediately.
Right.
So if you're looking to get your kids a drone for Christmas,
You better do it now.
I do it now.
B&H Photo, Amazon. Yeah. Brad, what do you know about it? Because you've definitely been reading up on it. Your thoughts?
Well, I've been trying to get parts for my drones, and they're very hard to come by, and the prices have doubled.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
B&H, we just mentioned B&H. They quit supplying a lot of DJI stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't even find OEM props for my drone right now.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. And the FCC, they're in, they're oh, never mind. I don't want to get I don't want to go there. But CJ,
the FCC
CJ
has the FCC has the ability to really review this. Now, remember, the FCC isn't controlled by the Trump administration directly. They're actually an independent government commission. They're kind of like the Federal Reserve, where the administration gets blamed kind of for how they act, but really has no control other than finger waving and yelling. So at the end of the day, we're waiting. And I know, Brad, you're waiting, for your, your livelihood kind of rests on this, I'm assuming. Is that what you do?
I'm building. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So for somebody like you, this is going to be, and that is an American small business. This is going to be a problem. You're not going to be able to actually repair your, the thing that allows you to continue your livelihood. And because of that, you have a couple of legislators, at least from what I don't remember exactly who, but from both sides that are now starting to throw up their hands and go, wait a minute here, can somebody do something? But whether they do will remain to be seen.
It was, well, I got my personal opinions, but there's one congresswoman up in Upper New York State that I don't like anymore, that started all this mess in 23 or 24. But it's, y'all can guess who it is. Anyway,
she put a hex on you.
But anyway, I'm just like Mark, I've got an old Phantom 2, the old one. It's a brick. I can't get it to fly anymore.
Right.
No. I have lost the drone that he flew the other day, the 2, a Mavic, an Air 2 or Mavic 2. I was trying to catch up with some charter boats. and I couldn't keep up, and I lost signal. I was on a boat.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
lost that drone. I don't know where it is.
Jeez.
It's
Uh,
Davy Jones' locker.
and
Yeah.
Mark, Mark's flying ability was. I witnessed that during the storm earlier this year with the
Yeah.
Buxton storm. Uh, Mark flies dangerously close to the ground
I'll show you.
in the water.
Right.
Uh, he I can't do that. I just don't have the intestinal fortitude to do that.
Right.
Show you a couple of these real quick, and then we got to move on.
There we go.
Like I
Do
just
it.
want to I just want to bring this up. So
That's it.
I googled American drone companies just because I'm curious, like what is
Yeah.
the largest? And
Skydio.
so hold on, you go down. So this is one. So there's the two sponsored results and the AI overview. I'm going to throw those out. The second result from Google is a Reddit. It's a subreddit r/drones, and it says which American drone company sucks the least.
Oh,
And
too bad.
what is your opinion on that? I know that you obviously have extensive experience in the DJI space, but what is your opinion on
Well,
American drones?
Okay.
I have none, just to speak for me real quick.
Neither
'cause
do I.
I
That's
do.
why I'm actually
I
asking,
do.
like, what is
We'll
your
I do.
We'll defer
It's
to Brad.
political. I'm going there. It's
Yeah.
Skydio.
Okay.
They are trying to get the market, and they're in bed with a lot of legislators.
Gotcha. Okay.
A lot of legislators. They only make commercial drones.
Right.
Yeah, I
They
see
want
that.
that
I see
commercial
that.
market. Skydio does not have recreational drones.
Okay.
And their lobbyists are throwing millions of dollars to the government. And that's a fact.
Right.
And
So how can the people watching this, what can they take away from this? How can they, advocate for people that, they may know somebody who's a freelance drone pilot. You never know. I mean,
Well, this
this
is
is a
hard 'cause
legitimate career now.
and you're also, though, you're talking about the Chinese companies, and so it is a
Right.
geopolitical issue.
It is.
but the
And there's a
DJ,
lot
but
more TikTok users than there are drone users, and so that
Exactly.
voice was literally louder.
hey, look at this. I mean, cell phones, they're
Right.
built there.
Exactly.
Yep.
I
I
know.
agree.
So there's
This is a tough nut to crack.
yeah, it's DJI has been trying and trying for 2 years to get that security uh
Right.
Right.
That audit.
that security audit, and nobody is listening to them. Nobody.
Right.
They don't care.
Some
Yeah. And
pushback
that's what
from
it seems that
outside
it's been.
forces.
Yeah. And it seems that it's been, obviously their timing has been kind of screwed because it would have started, or this would have passed only a few months after the 2024 elections.
Right.
So it would have been right at the turn of power.
Yep.
So this, and I do want to make that abundantly clear to people watching. This happened at the very tail end of the Biden administration,
Yes.
and this policy
Yes,
has
it
been
did.
carried through. It is not a single party issue.
Right.
This is a bipartisan issue.
Yes, it is.
Well, hopefully it gets resolved, and
But the only information that DJI was collecting, they were collecting telemetry info.
Right.
yeah,
Okay, for warranty and purposes.
Okay.
So
Right.
that's all they were collecting. They weren't collecting any video. They weren't collecting any GPS. All they were collecting was drone usage. Drone, I don't know how to put it,
yeah, like geolocation stuff. Yeah.
but it was
Yep.
just anyway. I don't know. I got to spend some money and try to find some batteries and props.
Yeah.
Right.
So, because fortunately I haven't had any accidents
Right.
except one. But
Right. Well,
anyway,
I
it is what it is.
I
Right.
appreciate
No,
you coming on with us,
Thank
Brad.
Thank you.
Sure.
Got a hard out coming up in a few minutes, and so I'm going to jump on to the last segment in just a moment. But I did want to address the technology, the Tech Tuesday, drones. Stay tuned. We will have an update, I assure you, on a following Tech Tuesday in the near future as to exactly what happens with this looming drone ban coming up on December 23rd. So thanks for joining us, Brad. We appreciate it. Fingers crossed. All right. So, and Brad, you don't have to leave. We're going to just skip to another subject. Um, so let's move along to rumors of storms. I heard it through the algorithm, which will bring me to the forecast. Again, pretty benign compared to where it could be. Let's look at the first 7 days across the country here, and it always jumps to the 12Z because I do the show into the 12Z run. Those systems coming into the Pacific Northwest, bringing lots of snow, high elevations, rain, lower elevations, exacerbating all the flooding problems. And then this one system does come out again across the northern tier states there with some pretty heavy snows, lake effect snows. But then the pattern starts to clear up as we get towards the 20th of December and the official calendar astronomical first day of winter, 20th, 21st, with more action out west. But again, you notice the lack of big time storms. Around now out at a week, big high pressure over the southeast, just not much weather in terms of storms. So the rumors of storms just not there. However, out west, the pattern does change and we start to see more impactful storm systems coming in. But again, I keep saying it, there's no blockbuster blizzard setting up, one of those Miller A, Miller B, nothing, no severe weather outbreaks to speak of,
No,
limited
it's been very
thunderstorms as a
quiet.
whole. Yeah, that whole second season, CJ, just fortunately, because we've seen some big ones. We talked about it the other day with
Hmm.
Jen. You know, Mayfield was early December, the first third of December 4 years
Right.
ago. The dynamics are just not there. So no
Nope.
complaints, right? I mean, we've
Yeah,
had
no,
some pretty
nope.
bad weather the last few years. If we have some
Yeah.
quiet times, enjoy it. Because when
Enjoy
it
it while it
ends,
lasts.
right, when that rubber band breaks, it's going to whip back and get you in the eye. So let's enjoy it while it lasts. Well, Brad, thanks for coming
Absolutely.
on today for today's Talking Weather. CJ, always good to see you.
Sure.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to wrap it up for today's episode. I am Mark Sudduth. I'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday. It's called Whatever Wednesday. I'll figure out something interesting to talk about, I'm sure. And CJ, you going to be around tomorrow? Or you got to do work stuff or
I think so. Let me double
figure
check
something
my
out?
schedule.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think I should be good. So
Well, we're
sounds like
just
a
past the
plan.
top of the hour. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going
Thanks,
to
guys.
kill my video first, then the audio. Mark Sudduth, Talking Weather. We'll see you tomorrow.